Nearly 70% of Americans over the age of 60 are deficient in a brain essential mineral. Yet most have never been warned by their doctors. Instead, millions still believe that antidepressants are the only answer while continuing to live with anxiety, insomnia, and constant fatigue. What few realize is that when you lack this mineral, your brain loses the ability to balance serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. As a result, medications struggle to work, while side effects rise from weight gain and brain fog to emotional numbness. New research shows that just a few weeks of supplementing with the right form of this mineral, especially magnesium glycinate, can improve mood as much as some prescription drugs, but without the severe side effects. So why has this information been overlooked? Stay with me, because in just a few minutes, you'll learn how to break free from the endless cycle of medication and side effects and reclaim peace of mind. I genuinely want to hear your story. Which country are you watching from? And how have your mood or sleep been lately? Share it in the comments below. And I'll read and personally respond to each one because your story deserves to be heard. In the United States today, antidepressants are one of the most prescribed classes of drugs for adults over 30. Yet, research shows up to half of those taking them never experience real relief. Instead, they're left battling fatigue, brain fog, emotional numbness, weight gain, and disrupted sleep. Imagine relying on a pill for years, only to realize it's not fixing the root cause, just muting the symptoms. That's the reality for millions. And it's where the conversation about magnesium glycinate begins. For decades, depression was treated almost exclusively as a chemical imbalance requiring pharmaceuticals. But now, nutritional psychiatry is revealing that chronic magnesium deficiency can disrupt neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and GABA, the very same chemicals antidepressants try to target. Without magnesium, your brain's stress response goes into overdrive. Inflammation lingers, and neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to adapt and heal, declines sharply. Here's the shocking part: as we age, magnesium absorption plummets, especially if you take common medications like diuretics, PPIs, or certain heart drugs. The body you have at 65 can be running at a silent deficit for years before symptoms appear. And when they do, they often look exactly like depression and anxiety. This is why magnesium glycinate stands apart. Unlike cheap forms like magnesium oxide, it's highly bioavailable and paired with glycine, an amino acid that calms the nervous system, eases anxious thoughts, and supports deep restorative sleep. The two work in synergy, providing the kind of gentle, steady brain support no prescription can fully replicate. But here's the challenge: most doctors still don't talk about it. Not because it isn't valid science, but because nutritional interventions rarely make it into standard treatment plans. That means the responsibility often falls on you to explore whether a missing nutrient could be part of your personal puzzle. So, before we go deeper into how magnesium glycinate works and why it could be the key to reducing or even eliminating reliance on antidepressants for some people, ask yourself this: are you treating the surface or strengthening the foundation? The answer might change how you see your mental health for the rest of your life. If you're still watching and ready to uncover the next breakthrough, type the number 1 in the comments below. That way I'll know you're right here with me, and trust me, what you're about to hear could forever change how you think about your mental health. One of the most overlooked truths in mental health is that not all magnesium is created equal, and choosing the wrong type can mean you see little to no benefit, no matter how faithfully you take it. This is where the conversation shifts from just getting enough magnesium to getting the right magnesium, Many seniors pick up the most affordable option on the store shelf, often magnesium oxide, without realizing that their bodies absorb less than 4% of it. Imagine pouring water into a bucket riddled with holes. That's what it's like for your brain and body when you're relying on a poorly absorbed form. You keep taking it, expecting relief, but the underlying deficiency lingers. Magnesium glycinate, on the other hand, is designed for superior absorption and brain impact. The glycine molecule it's bound to doesn't just act as a carrier, it actively calms your nervous system, helping to quiet racing thoughts, improve sleep quality, and stabilize mood. In nutritional psychiatry, this pairing is considered a game changer for people whose mental health struggles are tied to nutrient depletion rather than just chemical imbalance. What makes this so critical is that as we age, our digestive systems become less efficient at pulling nutrients from food, and certain medications can further block absorption. For someone in their 60s or 70s, even a diet rich in magnesium-containing foods may no longer be enough. That's why using a form your body can actually utilize is the difference between real change and wasted effort. Here's something else most people don't realize. It's not only about the form of magnesium, but also about how you take it. Pairing magnesium glycinate with supportive nutrients like vitamin B6, vitamin D, and zinc can multiply its impact. These cofactors help your body activate magnesium for use in neurotransmitter production, stress regulation, and sleep cycles. Without them, you might be giving your body the raw materials, but not the tools it needs to build and repair. So, before you grab another bottle from the shelf, ask yourself, are you feeding your brain with what it can truly use, or just what's easiest to buy? In the next section, we'll explore exactly how to build a daily routine that maximizes magnesium glycinate's potential and why timing your dose may be just as critical as the dose itself. By now, you've seen how magnesium glycinate supports the brain's chemistry in ways that antidepressants alone often cannot. But there's another piece of the puzzle that most people overlook: the silent role of chronic inflammation in both depression and anxiety. And here's the part that's both unsettling and empowering. This inflammation can linger for years without ever being detected in a standard blood test, quietly shaping your mood, your energy, and even your memory. Inflammation in the brain isn't like the swelling you see when you injure a knee. It's microscopic, slow-burning, and deeply tied to your body's stress response. Every time cortisol spikes, whether from daily worries, poor sleep, or even loneliness, it fuels this invisible fire. Over time, it interferes with how your neurons communicate and how your neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine are balanced. The result? You feel mentally drained, emotionally flat, and physically exhausted, even if nothing big has happened in your life. This is where magnesium glycinate plays a quiet but powerful role. Research shows it helps regulate the NMDA receptor system, which directly influences glutamate activity. Glutamate is essential for learning and memory, but when levels are too high for too long, it becomes toxic to neurons. Magnesium essentially acts as a gatekeeper, preventing overstimulation that triggers inflammation and neural damage. One study published in the Journal of Neuroinflammation found that adequate magnesium levels can reduce markers of neuroinflammation by up to 40% in older adults. That's not just a number, that's a measurable shift toward a calmer, more resilient brain environment. And when your brain's environment is stable, your emotional resilience naturally improves. Think about the implications lowering brain inflammation doesn't just help you feel better today. It supports the kind of long-term brain health that allows you to stay sharp, maintain independence, and engage in the things you love, Whether it's reading to your grandkids, volunteering at the community library, or keeping up with a gardening club. And here's the takeaway you can't afford to miss. Inflammation control is not just about supplements. It's about giving your body what it needs while removing the triggers that work against you. Processed sugars, excessive alcohol, and even certain medications can all stoke this inflammatory fire. But by pairing magnesium glycinate with anti-inflammatory foods, regular movement, and quality sleep, you create a multi-layered defense that pharmaceuticals alone can't match. So the real question becomes if reducing hidden brain inflammation could help lift your mood, sharpen your mind, and bring back your energy. Why wouldn't you make it a priority starting now? When the bigger picture starts to come into focus, it's easier to see that mood disorders aren't always just about brain chemistry. They're also deeply tied to the body's stress response system. This is where magnesium's impact on the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal HPA axis becomes crucial. The HPA axis is essentially your brain's command center for handling stress, controlling how much cortisol, the primary stress hormone, floods your system. In small bursts, cortisol helps you react and recover. But when the HPA axis is stuck in on mode, cortisol levels stay elevated, damaging brain cells, disrupting sleep cycles, and even shrinking the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for memory and emotional regulation. Chronic stress like this is a hidden driver behind depression, anxiety, and the feeling of being burned out. For older adults, it's even more dangerous because the body's ability to bounce back from stress declines with age. You might notice this as longer recovery times after emotional upsets, or difficulty calming your mind after a stressful event. This is where magnesium glycinate becomes more than just a mood supplement. It's a reset button for your stress machinery. Magnesium acts as a natural brake on the HPA axis, lowering cortisol production and helping your nervous system shift back into a calm, restorative state. Glycine's role adds another layer, gently activating the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's rest and digest mode. Together, they don't just calm you down in the moment, they retrain your stress response to be more balanced over time. Research supports this. Studies have shown that magnesium supplementation can reduce cortisol levels and improve sleep quality in as little as 4 weeks. Better sleep means lower inflammation, more stable moods, and sharper thinking, all of which are often eroded by chronic stress. Think about the ripple effect with a calmer stress response. You're less likely to reach for unhealthy coping mechanisms like sugary snacks, alcohol, or mindless TV late at night. You also give your brain the space it needs to repair itself, rebuild healthy neural connections, and regain emotional resilience. And perhaps the most encouraging part is this: you don't have to overhaul your entire life to start seeing benefits. Even small, consistent steps, like adding magnesium glycinate before bed, can help reset a stress system that's been stuck in overdrive for years. It's a reminder that while we can't avoid stress entirely, we can absolutely change how our bodies respond to it, no matter our age. If you're still here with me and you're finding these insights helpful, type the number 1 in the comments below so I know you're ready to keep going. Your feedback tells me you're engaged, and it helps me tailor future videos to exactly what you need. One of the most overlooked pieces in the mental health puzzle is how magnesium works hand in hand with vitamin B6. While magnesium is the mineral that calms the nervous system and stabilizes mood, vitamin B6 is like the switch that turns it on. Without enough B6, your body can't fully activate magnesium, meaning you may take it daily yet never experience the real benefits. Vitamin B6 plays a central role in producing neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, the same ones targeted by antidepressants. It's also key for making melatonin, your body's sleep hormone. When B6 levels are low, these pathways slow down, leaving you more vulnerable to irritability, fatigue, restless nights, and even a weakened immune system. Here's the catch: as we age, B6 absorption decreases, and certain medications, like blood pressure drugs or diabetes meds, can drain your stores even faster. Many seniors unknowingly live with a silent B6 deficiency for years. The symptoms often mimic depression or anxiety, so they're misattributed to aging or life stress. Now, when magnesium glycinate and vitamin B6 are paired, they create a synergy that can be life-changing. Magnesium helps keep the nervous system calm, while B6 ensures your body can use that magnesium efficiently to build neurotransmitters and regulate sleep cycles. The result: a steadier mood, deeper rest, and more resilience against daily stressors. Research from the Journal of the American College of Nutrition found that combining magnesium with B6 significantly improved anxiety and PMS symptoms in women, and the mechanism works the same for men. The combination reduced stress hormone levels and increased GABA activity, leading to a calmer, more balanced state of mind. Think of it like a lock and key. Magnesium is the lock that stabilizes your brain chemistry, and B6 is the key that makes it work. You could have the best lock in the world, but without the right key, it stays shut. This is why so many people see better results within weeks of adding B6 to their magnesium routine. For seniors aiming to reduce antidepressant dependence or simply find a more natural route to emotional stability, understanding this nutrient partnership is crucial. The right balance doesn't just make you feel better, it helps rebuild the foundation of mental wellness, giving you more control over your mood and energy than you might have thought possible. If you've been following along, you now understand how magnesium glycinate works inside your brain, from calming overactive stress pathways to restoring balance in neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and GABA. But there's another piece of the puzzle that can quietly determine whether all that effort pays off or leaves you wondering why nothing has changed. It's your dietary support system. Even the best magnesium glycinate supplement can't operate at full strength if your daily nutrition is missing its key partners, and one of the most overlooked is high-quality protein paired with calming minerals. This is where an old-fashioned food like cottage cheese unexpectedly becomes relevant. Cottage cheese delivers a slow, steady release of amino acids, especially tryptophan, the raw material your body uses to make serotonin. Without enough tryptophan, your brain may still struggle to stabilize mood, even if magnesium levels are improving. And here's where it gets interesting. Tryptophan works best in a calm, magnesium-rich environment, which is exactly what magnesium glycinate helps create. Then there's calcium abundant in cottage cheese, which partners with magnesium in regulating nerve signals. Think of calcium as the spark and magnesium as the brake. Both are necessary to keep your nervous system running smoothly without tipping into anxiety or emotional crashes. Vitamin B12 in cottage cheese adds another layer of support. Low B12, common in older adults, can mimic depression and amplify fatigue. When combined with magnesium's neurocalming effects, restoring B12 helps sharpen mental clarity and emotional resilience. This isn't about replacing your magnesium glycinate. It's about building the environment where it can work to its fullest potential, supporting sleep, steady energy, and a more balanced mood. In fact, some seniors notice that when they add a simple magnesium-friendly evening snack, like a small bowl of cottage cheese with berries and a sprinkle of flaxseed, their sleep improves faster and their morning mood feels lighter. Of course, quality matters. Choose low-sodium, minimally processed cottage cheese to avoid undermining magnesium's benefits with excess salt or additives. And remember, while supplements can be targeted, foods like this weave nutrients into your daily life in a way that's sustainable and enjoyable. When you bring the right foods into the picture, magnesium glycinate stops being just another pill and starts becoming part of a complete brain-nourishing strategy. It's these small, intentional pairings that can make the difference between some improvement and truly regaining the mental clarity and emotional stability you've been hoping for. We've just uncovered the surprising truth that for many older adults, depression and anxiety aren't always just a chemical imbalance that requires medication. Sometimes, the missing puzzle piece is something as simple as magnesium glycinate helping calm the nervous system, balance neurotransmitters, and restore the deep sleep your brain needs to heal. This isn't about abandoning medication, but about giving your mind and body the natural support they've been waiting for. I've met so many people in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, who had lost hope after years on prescriptions believing life will always be this way. But the human mind is remarkably resilient. Even after decades, your brain can still learn, adapt, and rediscover peace. And sometimes, that journey begins with a small mineral your body recognizes and embraces. If you've tried magnesium glycinate or noticed a shift in your mood after improving your nutrition, share your story in the comments. I'll read every single one, because your experience might be the hope someone else needs right now. If this video has been valuable to you, please subscribe, share it with friends, and if you'd like to support further, even a small cup of coffee from you can be the encouragement I need to keep creating videos that help older adults live healthier, more meaningful lives. Remember, mental health doesn't only come from a prescription. It comes from the small but powerful choices you make every day. Choices that nourish your brain, protect your sleep, and listen to the signals your body is sending.